In this video, we're going to look at operations on both rational and irrational numbers and what kind of numbers be rational or irrational after adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing them. Okay, so I'm actually, guys, just going to skip page 7. Just because we, in the last video, looked at what rational numbers were, what irrational numbers were. So, on page 8, what I want to start off by doing is putting a check mark or an X or some kind of way to identify something being either rational or irrational. -6, it's a pretty number. I can write it over 1 to make it a rational number. 3 pi over 4, I'm not 100% sure about. Division, 3 pi over 4 is 2.35, blah, 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 blah. If you see over here to the left, it doesn't give me an option to change this to a fraction, so therefore I know it's irrational. 17.3 is 173 over 10. It gives me an option for a fraction, therefore I know it's rational. 3 square root 2. No fraction button, so irrational. Square root of 16 is 4, which is a pretty number. I know I can write it over 1, so it's rational. 8, also a pretty number. 3/4. Again, it gives me this fraction button, 0.75 or 3/4. 5.0, still a pretty number. All right, 5.0 is just 5, which can be written as 5 over 1. -17.3. Again, it can be rewritten as a fraction, so therefore it's rational. And last but not least, 2 square root 2. No option for a fraction. It's not a pretty number, therefore it's irrational. Okay. Now, the rest of this page, what we're going to do is work on adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, or doing some kind of operations with these numbers. And we're just going to classify the result as either being rational or irrational. So for G plus A, what I'm going to do is type in G, which is 3 over 4, plus, and then A was -6. I get -5.25. I have the opportunity or the ability to turn it into a fraction. So therefore it is rational. Whoops, that was actually number 3. I'm sorry. Number 2. Wow, I'm really struggling. B is 3 pi over 4. So division, 3 pi over 4 times G, which is 3/4, 1.76. It doesn't give me opportunity to turn it to a fraction, so therefore it's irrational. E times C, square root 16. Make sure you type it correctly. Square root of 16 times C, which is 17.3. Again, I can change it to the fraction 3/46 over 5. Therefore, it is rational. All right. So what I want you to do is to do the rest of these examples. Once you get done with the rest of these examples, I want you to look and see or do page 9, and from page 9, take a picture and upload that to Canvas for me for your assignment. And to explain that a little bit further, so in this we have multiplication and addition. So rational plus rational. Rational plus rational, rational plus irrational, rational times irrational, and that a rational times irrational. Is it always, sometimes, or never? And then again, you'll just highlight what your results were up here. And for the sake, rational plus rational is always rational. So rational plus rational is always a rational number, thus never. Okay? If it's always rational, then it's never irrational. If it's sometimes rational, then it's sometimes irrational. If it's never rational, then it's always irrational. Okay? So you'll either select always never, sometimes, or never always, depending on your answer.